Hello and welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch with me, Barden. So we've arrived at the house here, and I guess it's time to quit stalling and to make our way inside. So what have we got? Another missing poster. Got some nice lamps at the front. Okay. Got some compost over here. Gary's potting mix. Okay. Macro Maxi. Okay, and it looks like, yep, we've got to use our key here.
I hope the key might unlock the front door. It didn't.
Okay, it's interesting. Oh, we can have, oh, how do we look inside? Oh, yeah. Okay, is there some way? I want to get a better look.
Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Maybe it was. So there's a stair up there. There's books everywhere. Wow. that's like me, I have to say. I've got books everywhere as well. Well, not here in Japan, but at home in Ireland. I just got so many books. And even though I have a ton of shelf space as well, there's just too many books. Well, too many books we went to space, but not too many books for me. Okay, so someone is a literary buff, at least. So, oh, we got a ramp here, so I guess it's for the person who needed the chairlift. Okay, so there's it shining again. So trying to get up here. Okay, isn't it? Oh, we're into the cat flap. Okay.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Okay, so we've got some bikes. Just general stuff you would see in a garage, I guess. Lawnmower. Got a car. With the wood paneling on the side, it looks like maybe a station wagon. Got another bike there. Oh, we can switch the light on. Let's do that.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it seems you got a bunch of unplayed bills. Oh, so she left when everyone else did. Okay, so because when she said it at first, it sounded like she'd left and the family had stayed here. Okay, so we've got cosmic cuisine, the pleasures of Japanese cooking. Well, I know all about that. The Northwest Chef, the Book of Mushrooms. What's the other one? Something saltwater yeast. Okay, so someone is really into their cooking. It's nice to know. And we've got a deep freezer there. Someone then, obviously whoever built the janky stuff, this was their tool area. A lot of those tools though, look at the chisels and stuff, like there's no rust or anything on them, so they were pretty well maintained when the person was here. Because a lot, like especially like saw blades, you'll see the on the teeth that all of that will kind of turn brown and stuff after not too long. Like you can see a little bit happening on this one, or maybe it's in the shadow, but it doesn't take all that long of not being used for and not being cared for those to turn out right. We've got a bit of a paddling pool. Got an old upright vacuum there. Okay, just seeing if there's anything that's gonna spark a memory for her. It doesn't look like it, so let's make our way into the house.
For the first time in years,
Oh, that actually worked out then.
I felt like I was home.
January 2010. So does that mean that they bought a new calendar just before they left, hung it up, and then decided not to take it with them? Okay, so who we got here? Lewis, Dawn, Edie. That must be Edith, I guess. Milton. No, there's Edith. So who's that one then? Edie. It's not Eddie, because Eddie has double D in it. Okay, so we know about Milton, Lewis. I don't think we know about Dawn or Edie. Oh, it's a bit of a noise going on there. Let's make our way inside. So someone liked their looks like wine at least to me. What is it? Orange Toby. Okay. Then what's this one? Maybe Angelo's Vineyard. Yes, that's definitely wine. And there's a lot of tuna as well.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Certainly are. The Northwest. So they got multiple. I guess it's just a game that they didn't make that many copies of the book, so there's just going to be multiples of the same book about. Okay, so we got something there. It looks like they're Mary Celeste though, like someone was mid-meal and then left the house, like running and screaming. It certainly doesn't look like someone moved out in an orderly fashion. Okay, so let's see what this is.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Because the Chinese people maybe didn't know about the superstitions about the house. Nobody would talk to them. Okay, so what's over here then? Because we did have... Oh, it's here. I thought it was on the stove. That's a nice range as well. We had something similar to that when I was a kid, like, but that it's hard to tell with the burners whether they're gas burners or not. But our one was like, yeah, it looks like a gas burner because it's got the double oven there. But our one was what was the name of it? I can't remember the name of our range, but it was coal fired. So Dad would like light it up, and then Mom would cook on it, and it was like a big part of our kitchen. It was part of the central point of the kitchen, and when we moved house and then we went to electric, it was weird to start like not having the range there, but at the same time, like, there were advantages to it, because if you're cooking on a range in the middle of the summer, it's not that comfortable. So, but then in the winter, it makes the place nice and cozy. So pluses and minuses. But let's check.
Or how after
this.
Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Oh, that's salmon. I thought it was... Yeah, look, it looks like salmon there. I thought it was tuna though. But I guess, Washington more likely to have salmon than tuna. Okay, so what else do we have? So I don't want to leave the kitchen and realize that I've missed something. So we've got 2 ways to go. We could go out there to the main house, or we could go to this back area. So what's this over here? Is this... Yeah, it's a microwave. Okay, it's not an old TV. We've got some more books. Oh, this is definitely coal-fired. So that's the kind of thing nowadays. You might have it like... People generally have it as like almost a piece of art in their house, like rather than having central heating. They might have that in a snug now, but it's more about for a lot of people, it's more about being pretentious rather than rather than it being kind of an efficient way to do things. But then you do have families where maybe they've had it for in their family for a long time and just pass it on. And but there are a lot of people though who it's not the case. They're the same kind of people who will buy a piece of furniture and then have it distressed to make it look, older than it is and that kind of thing. So let's continue on. So
the table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Yes, so they did kind of just leave in the middle of the night. So I guess Edie, I hope I'm saying it right, was the person who needed a chairlift, because there's a wheelchair over there with their name on it. So I'm guessing Edie must have been a young kid, because your parents don't tend to put your name on things when you're like a teenager. Although then that looks like a walking stick. But then that... Okay, so what we got? Yeah, we got some kind of walk. We got a... That looks more like... Well, it probably is for a small kid. But it does... part with the oxygen and stuff looks like maybe for an older person, but...
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
It looks very much like the Mary Celeste, I think. And then you got the creaking of the house as well, which kind of brings back that kind of ship kind of thing. Okay, so let's see.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Yeah, Edie was older then. That's weird though. Why put her name on it? And sounds like the mom didn't like the grandmother. Everybody else wanted to keep her with the family. She wanted to put her in a home. But sometimes it's the right thing to do. It depends on what the family situation is. It is a very hard decision though to put someone in a home, but at the same time, when it gets to the point where maybe the rest of the family moved away and there's only one family member there, and like their entire life is just looking after that person, then the rest of the family have to, it's difficult when you've moved away and maybe you got your own family to think of that person and think, well, they deserve a life as well. They shouldn't just be like an unpaid nursemaid to the person. And they're doing what they're doing out of love, but at the same time they need to have their own life, and that's when maybe the decision has to be made whether the person needs to go into a home or not. But here it looks like there was a full family and Edie was there, and apart from Edith's mother, there wasn't really anyone who felt that she was a burden. So that's a good thing. Let's move on. Is that like an iPod or something? It looks like that's an iPod, and then like a one of those stands that they used to have for them. Okay, well, let's move on. So we've got the dresser here with all the crockery that never gets used. I'm sure that never got used because it was probably felt to be either too expensive or too sentimental, because a lot of that stuff, can be like reproduction stuff that was made in China, but then because it looks pretty and it kind of gets sentimental value, people don't want to use it because crockery tends to get broken, whether it's by accident or by someone just not being able to control their temper. It tends to happen, and then it's gone, and it doesn't matter whether it was expensive or not. It's the it's just the sentimental side of things, really. So let's see what else we have in here then. So we've got that looks like a coffee pot rather than a teapot, just because of the the angle of the spout. You wouldn't see too many people, I think, drinking tea out of something like that. And then right next to a chamber pot, which is nice. We've got more chamber pots, jug. A Viking's belly, interesting. Raw fowl. Okay, so what else then is Pacific Coast seafood. Okay, so it's more cooking, I guess. Then we got an orca there. I wonder if that's Free Willy. I don't think it is though. Well, Willy. It was just Willy, wasn't it? The movie was Free Willy. But I guess if he's free now, then technically he could be described as Free Willy. And then we got the ferry there. So I guess that's probably the ferry that we're on now. Out to the island. Or I guess we're leaving the island because we're on the ferry. And we've got a camper van and some kids. Okay. And then a fire. At the ferry again. Yep, more of the ferry. What have we got over here then? Some kids on the log. So that was probably in the area of the woods that we saw where someone had been felling trees. That's just a view into the garage. And it looks like the garage was just added on without... Like whoever did all the add-ons on this house just did them and then that was it. They didn't... Like normally you would fill that in and make a solid wall there. Or else make this the door and move the radiator somewhere else. But I'm guessing the person wasn't that good at DIY. Okay, then we've got... looks like maybe... It's hard to tell with the resolution, but looks like maybe a shed or something out on a lake. Then that's the same picture of the ferry. Okay, I think we're done in this room, so let's move on.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it.
Yeah.
Like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, there's definitely too much of everything, isn't there? That's a nice view though. Look at this view. Wow. So they're on like a lakefront here. So I'm guessing they have a boat somewhere. They got a barbecue there. That looks like where you can see the little fence. Looks like maybe out to a headland. Maybe there was a jetty off there. Or like maybe there's a jetty out that way. So then we've got the floral in the 70s and 80s floral pattern on your furniture was very big. And Tiffany style lamp, but I guess it's not Tiffany. That's very kind of 1930s type. So it's eclectic stuff in here. And then we've got the homemade table from like part of a tree stump held up by some books because again whoever does the DIY isn't all that good. I wonder what did they take with them when they left though. Did you just take the clothes and get out? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like they left in a big hurry. So we got it's not really that old a TV because it's flat screen, but if it's from like if it was new when they moved, it probably has like that bulge at the back. You know, more modern ones are kind of sleeker, but around then it would have been and then to balance it on all the books is just weird. Like it's sitting on the books. It's not sitting on something that's on top of the books. It's sitting on the books. And that would have been an expensive TV at the time. Then we've got someone kayaking. Got the mountains. Okay, we've got a guy up there as well. He might be Mr. DIY. And then some people walking in the woods.
Even the fireplace had a story.
Okay, what's the
Edie
story?
told me the bricks came from the original house.
Oh, cool.
After it sank.
How did the house sink? So it's on a lakefront. So was the original house maybe out further, and then maybe it collapsed into the lake? Just, you know, natural erosion, I guess. But that's the original house, okay? And you got a carriage there. So I'm guessing the house maybe dates back to the mid 1800s, probably mid to late 1800s, if I had to guess. Just judging by the style of the house, the style of the carriage as well, it's not going to be much older than that. And you don't really get, you know, the history of the US is pretty short compared to other countries. You know, you're only talking, you know, a few hundred years, while most of the countries, you know, that would be almost considered modern history. Okay, so what have we got then over here? Got some kids. I like the Halloween. So is that Edie and Edith maybe? Because it doesn't sound like the mother like the grandmother, but it sounds like Edith like the grandmother. And with the names Edie and Edith, you know, it wouldn't be much of a stretch to say that we were named after her. She looks like a happy kid, though. She doesn't look like someone who was scared of the house. But maybe it was just her family. So then someone cutting their own Christmas tree. Okay, and then that's their father and son. So maybe Milton and his dad. Okay. Is there anything else we can see in here? Fireplace. Let's check this corner of the room, just in case. It's got a ladder. Oh wow, there's even more books over here. And what is that, like a Loch Ness monster or something in the top picture? Looks like the same girl there down at the jetty, and then that same picture we've seen a few times. So I like the pictures. It would have been nice if they hadn't have done the repeating thing though. Okay, so I think we probably got time for one more room. So let's check out here in the entrance hall. So we won't go down to the basement yet. So someone like to collect moths and butterflies and bugs and stuff. And there's a big collection. Like you got centipedes, got like a beetle there, got a scorpion, butterflies, millipede, a moth, and then the fairy again. Okay, and then on this side, that looks like the just before, you know, the famous statue of the I think it's Iwo Jima in the Second World War, in the Pacific fight against Japan, where one guy put down the flag and then you have a bunch of other guys helping up. It looks like maybe a prelude to that. Certainly a similar scene. Okay, so someone probably fought in the war against the Japanese, but considering that they have books about Japanese cooking, they obviously don't bear any ill will. What the hell is that thing? It looks like a beehive with like a dead bird on it or something. That's weird. Okay, then we've got violin and a cello. Okay, so obviously some musical people in the family as well. So given that there are like these boxes here that are unused, it seems like they were getting ready to move. So they'd obviously decided, we've had enough of this house or this area and we're going to move. And then something happened where they just decided, let's get out of here. Or I guess the alternative is that somebody decided to come and clean up the house, pack stuff away and move it, and then something happened to them, and then they never finished the tidying up. So one of those two things. But it's certainly intriguing. Now, we've got something here. This looks like a music box. Yeah, there's a handle on the front. What's it say on the top? Barbara. Okay. Let's wind it. Oh. Oh, there we go.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara,
Cool.
along with the rest of the house.
So he was good with little things, because that's a well put together box. But not with big things. Nice music. Yeah, so Grandpa Sven then, if you want something small and delicate done, he's your man. But if you want something, an extension on your house, don't be calling him up. Okay, so then we got Barbara Finch. So this looks like a movie set. Maybe they were making their own movies here, because it does look like, and obviously a monster movie, maybe something about a Yeti or a Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it does look like the type of area that you would make that sort of movie. And we've got someone on the shore, although that looks more like a beach that we get by the sea rather than at a lake. Then we got family there, more bugs and stuff. Okay, and more books, and then the box heater there. Okay, now that's the kitchen again, but I'm just checking this area. What looks like snow there, and then there's the person kayaking again. Okay, and we've got all these ambient sounds going on as well. As if they don't sound like an old house was settled. They don't sound like that kind of thing. That might be where our key works, that door there. Okay, and then we've got the stair lift, which we now know was for Edie, our grandmother. And then we've got this box will be the last thing we check.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Okay, so they were boxing up ready to go, and then something happens, and they just said, we need to get out of here now. And they just abandoned the house. Okay, that's nice to know. Oh, and one more thing here.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Okay, so it's the mother who was putting all the missing posters up around the place. And then maybe when they left, she had some. They were going out to the car. They blew away, and they ended up all over the woods. Okay, yeah, so far, again, really enjoying this. I hope you are too. It's a great little mystery, and just so atmospheric, and I'm really enjoying it. So, but that is the end of this particular episode. So if you are enjoying, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and perhaps posting a comment. And I really do hope to see all of you next time. Goodbye.